Let's play ball. Okay, Blue Jays. Let's play ball.
Welcome to this week's episode of A Random Blue Jays First Blue Jays Days. On this week's episode, Ryan Yarbrough. Ryan was born December 31st, 1991 in Austin, Texas. Ryan, a left-handed pitcher, was acquired July 30th, 2024 from the LA Dodgers for center fielder Kevin Kiermaier. The Blue Jays were not having a great year in 2024. At the time of the trade, the Blue Jays were 51-58, 13.5 games out of first place. At the deadline, the Blue Jays were moving veterans and salary in an effort to get younger and cheaper. To this point, 2024 Kiermaier, 34, was making $10.5 million, whereas Yarbrough, 31, was making $3.9 million. Notably, both Kiermaier and Yarbrough would receive a World Series ring in 2024 after the Dodgers defeated the Yankees. The Blue Jays had a very busy 2024 trade deadline. Some of the more notable moves that year in addition to the Yarbrough trade: Yimi Garcia to Seattle for Jonathan Clase and Jacob Sharp, Nate Pearson to Chicago Cubs for Yohendrick Piano and Josh Rivera, Danny Jansen to Boston for Cutter Coffee, Edison Paulino, and Gilbert Batista. Justin Turner was sent to Seattle for RJ Schreck. Yusei Kikuchi was sent to Houston for Jake Bloss, Joey Loperfido, and Will Wagner. Trevor Richards was sent to Minnesota for Jay Harry. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa off to Pittsburgh for Charles McAdoo. Of all the players acquired at the 2024 trade deadline, only Will Wagner, Joey Loperfido, Jonathan Clase, and Ryan have had any significant time with the Blue Jays. Also of note, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has returned to the Blue Jays in 2025 for the World Series run. At the time of the trade, Ryan was 4-2, over 67 1/3 innings pitched, with 39 strikeouts, 25 walks over 32 appearances. He also had one save. Ryan made his first appearance for the Blue Jays August 4th, 2024, against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The Blue Jays lineup that day was Ernie Clement at short, Joey Loperfido at left, Vladdy at DH, Spencer Horowitz at first, Dalton Varsho in center, Alejandro Kirk at catcher, Addison Barger in right, Davis Schneider at second, and at third base, Luis de los Santos. Now, don't feel bad if you don't remember Luis. He only had 13 games with the Blue Jays, with this game being only his second. George Springer would pinch hit for Spencer Horowitz, and Blue Jays legend Stuart Baroa entered as a pinch runner. Maybe it's because the 2024 season was so forgettable, but I have no recollection of Stuart and his 28 appearances for the Blue Jays in 2024. The starting pitcher for the Blue Jays that day was Yariel Rodriguez. It was a bullpen day for the Blue Jays. Other pitchers used that day: Brendan Little, Zach Pop, Genesis Cabrera, Ryan Burr, Chad Green, and Bowden Francis. Now, there are a few names from that list that are still with the Blue Jays bullpen, but for the most part, these relievers have all moved on or are in the minors. The Yankees lineup that day featured Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton, amongst others. This was the Yankees team that would win 94 games and the American League pennant in 2024. Ryan would enter the game and make his Blue Jays debut in the bottom of the sixth, with Jazz Chisholm on second and Anthony Volpe on first. No outs. Both runners previously singled off Zach Pop, who Ryan was replacing. With Trent Grisham at the plate, the Yankees completed a double steal. Now the runners are on second and third, still no out. Trent Grisham grounds out to first, Jazz scores, and Volpe advances to third.
Santos in at third, everybody else back, giving up a run, the 2-1. And there's the run as Horowitz fields, goes to first, Chisholm scores, Volpe moves to third. The Yankees have a run, it's 2-1 Toronto. Well, really good at bat by Grisham.
DJ LeMahieu flies out to center. Volpe tags and scores from third.
Third, one man out. Lined into center field, coming on Varsho. He makes the catch. Tagging is Volpe. Here's the throw. Here's the play. It's a tie game. A sac fly for LeMahieu, and it's 2-2.
And then Gleyber Torres lines up to short.
Line drive, it is caught by Clement for the final out. But the Yankees.
In the bottom of the 7th, Ryan was replaced by Genesis Cabrera. Ryan's line for his first game: no runs, no hits, no walks, no batters hit by pitch, 3 up, 3 down. But the 2 inherited runners did score, so he was credited with a blown save, even though he was the only pitcher that day not to allow a runner. Sometimes baseball stats are weird. In total, for the 2024 Blue Jays, Ryan would enter the game with a total of 5 inherited runners. These are runners already on base when a new pitcher comes in. Of the 5 inherited runners for Ryan with the Blue Jays, only 2 scored, both in his debut. Ryan would pitch 11 more games for the Blue Jays in 2024, finishing the season with a 1-0 record, 2.01 ERA, 31 1/3 innings pitched, striking out 26 against only 7 walks. An interesting side note: Ryan, as we noted earlier, was acquired by the Blue Jays July 30th, 2024 at the trade deadline. However, he pitched in a game for the Blue Jays on June 26, 2024 in Boston. Now, this would seem impossible. However, that game was originally started on June 26th, but was suspended due to weather. It was then completed August 26, 2024. This is the game where Danny Jansen would become the first player in history to play for both teams in the same game. All of the stats for this game are attributed to the original scheduled date. Ryan and Danny were able to play in this game due to MLB Rule 7.02C, which states in part, a player who is not with the club when the game was suspended may be used as a substitute even if he has taken the place of a player no longer with the club who would not have been eligible because he had been removed from the lineup before the game was suspended. So Ryan made his debut for the Blue Jays before ever becoming a Blue Jay. At the conclusion of the 2024 season, Ryan re-signed with the Blue Jays as a free agent. He would take part in 2025 spring training. However, on March 23, 2025, the Blue Jays released Ryan. As part of his free agent contract with the Blue Jays, he would be granted his release prior to the completion of spring training, if not part of the 26-man opening day roster. The Blue Jays had no intention of adding him to the 26-man roster, so he was given his release and eligible to sign with any team. Ryan then signed with the Yankees for the 2025 season. The 2024 season was forgettable for most Toronto Blue Jay fans, but it did set the stage for a memorable 2025 World Series run. At the time of this recording, the 2025 World Series first pitch is approximately 5 hours away. On the next episode, we talk about the Blue Jays' debut of Howie Clark.
Hello, my name's Poku and I don't know what to do.